Hey y'all, welcome. It's December the 11th, 2016, and I'd like to take some time out right now to just look at this man right here that you've been looking at, just to soak him in. All right, just take him in. You don't know anything about him yet. His name is Harold J. Tabor, if I'm not mistaken. All right. Just look at him. Feel how you're gonna feel, and know that you're gonna feel a certain way towards him. I'm not gonna tell you how I feel. Just, just make your own assessment of him very briefly before I go ahead and start you off on a brand new game show. You didn't even know you were on it. All right. This game show is called "Who Are We to Judge?" All right, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna find out what Harold J. Tabor has been accused of. All right, and we're gonna judge whether or not we think he's guilty. All right, and we don't know because he has not been through a court of law, which is the way that everybody deserves. Right? We don't know if he's guilty, but we're gonna make some assumptions. All right, so let's just begin. Apparently, allegedly, what happened on November the 18th in a local, I assume a community college in South Carolina, Charleston, I believe. All right. Apparently, around about high noon, a student walks into a restroom near some sort of education center. Walks into the restroom. What he allegedly finds is Harold Tabor masturbating, right, in the direction of a urinal. All right, just to keep it real brief, the young man leaves out of the bathroom. I don't know if he wanted to go tell somebody or if he just kept it to himself, but he left out of the bathroom, only to return 15 minutes later. For some reason, he walks into the bathroom again, allegedly, and allegedly he sees Harold Tabor as still masturbating. All right, so Harold Tabor is taking his sweet time, according to the story of a student at this college in Charleston. And so what the student does, according to the reports that I've seen, is that he decides, for whatever reason, apparently there was no other bathrooms available, he decides to go into the stall of the bathroom while Mr. Harold Tabor was masturbating. And I don't know if it was furiously or gently, but they didn't say. All right. So after about a minute, according to reports, the young man notices that Harold Tabor leaves the bathroom, and he goes out an exit because the young man follows him. All right. So he goes. Harold Tabor leaves out an exit from the education center. Right. And then I don't know how in the world this happens, but the young man, he stays in the education center, right? And then he winds up going back into the restroom about 15 minutes after that episode, to blow his nose, right? And, shoot, these young people out here, lots of times they don't know anything, all right? This young man did not even have a handkerchief with him. So he has to go into the bathroom for whatever reason, blow his nose. And, he finds Harold Tabor in the restroom yet again, according to the reports. And yet again is Harold Tabor masturbating. So I mean, this whole story has been very bizarre, right? What in the world? It's like I would have PTSD up against this particular bathroom at this point, yet and still, the young man apparently seems to be going back for more and more and more, and that I find very bizarre. All right, but just to continue, apparently at that point, when the young man was washing his hands after blowing his nose, it's at that point that Harold Tabor approaches the young man, and he begins masturbating in the young man's general direction.
All right, everybody, back up. Back the fuck up. I tried to be nice about this.
And that's when the young man turns from witness to victim of a crime. All right, apparently like a crime of being lewd and lascivious with your wiener at somebody is and so now the young man's a victim. All right, and he told one of the local officers or whatever on duty, kind of a school officer. He told him about it, and that officer made a report. All right, so that whole nightmare scenario was over at that point. And oddly enough, 2 weeks later, just about 2 weeks later, on December the 3rd, at about 8:30 in the morning, the police actually come to Harold Tabor's residence. They find out who he is, where he lives. They come to Harold Tabor's residence, and they knock on the door and say, "Hey, Mr. Tabor, sorry to wake you, but it seems as though you're being accused of masturbating at somebody about 2 weeks ago." All right, and so they take him to jail. All right, and Harold Tabor, he winds up getting out on bond, so he winds up getting out, and then come to find out, all right, as the plot thickens yet again, it turns out Harold Tabor is not only an elementary school teacher. No, he's also a special education elementary school teacher. All right, so say, who are we to judge? All right, because it seems as though Harold J. Tabor is probably guilty of what he's being accused of. It seems as though the young man who he accosted is also guilty of being curious, very curious. All right, but it does seem as though probably this did take place, at least in my mind, and I'm saying all of this is alleged. It's not proven yet. There is the court of law. But here's the thing. Can you imagine being accused of masturbating at someone, masturbating furiously for about 45 minutes and masturbating at someone if you didn't do it? You couldn't do it. And here's the thing. There's probably cameras all around that campus, not necessarily in the restroom, but they could tell that you're in certain parts of the building for certain amounts of time. There's no reason why you'd be in a bathroom for about 45 minutes, as Harold J. Tabor was, probably. And they probably have video evidence of this. All right, so that all being said, all right, he may or may not be guilty. All right, he may not be guilty, but let's just dive down the rabbit hole. What if he was guilty? What if this look at him? What if this man was guilty of doing what he was saying, what he was said to have done? All right, you think it's a weird coincidence that this man somehow, for some reason, just recently, he decided to, put himself around special educated young children, all right, who lots of times have trouble communicating. Some odd coincidence took place here, a very odd coincidence, all right? And I want to explain something, a lot of y'all probably might not understand this, but yet the nation on the whole, when you're talking about public schools, the nation on the whole is pretty well desperate for special education instructors and teachers. And the reason for this is it seems as though special education need kids are skyrocketing. All right. Not only that, I mean, it's just nobody really, I guess, wants the job. Not enough people, at least, and they don't want to jump through all the hoops that they're being put through in the public school system. Usually, it's just saying usually. All right. This is a general rule of thumb that these public schools be thirsty out here, thirsty for special education teachers, and guess what? They'll get whatever riffraff they got coming that's coming around. All right, so you gotta wonder if Harold J. Tabor did what he did, and not only that, has he done more? I mean, what's to stop you from? I mean, you're already allegedly masturbating for many minutes over at a college campus where you do not belong at. Anyways, it's December the 11th, 2016. Y'all, the Bible never told you not to judge, all right? Just be very careful while you do it. But anyways, I'll check back with y'all next time, and I'll holler at y'all next time when we play Who Are We to Judge?
Girls were never anything that he was ever interested in. And, as a young teenager,